Hello guys and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to be talking about Stone of Binding. Now a lot of you guys have been asking me, EmilZy, when do I build Stone of Binding? How? Like why? All these kind of questions. And as always, when I answer one question too many times, I feel like making a video on it, so I never really have to answer that question again. And also I can really go a bit more in depth here in a video rather than just writing like a whole book about why Stone of Binding is bad or good or not necessary. Yeah, so Stone of Binding, let's just really fast go over the item first, right? Stone of Binding gives you 20 magical power, it's pretty neat, 30 magical prot and 30 fist prot as well. And then the OP thing about it is the passive here. When you are hitting an enemy guard with any like sort of crowd control, you'll place a buff on allies within 70 units of you. That's a long radius, man. Can't swear, but this buff provides 15 penetration for 5 seconds. There's no cooldown whatsoever to this passive, so you can just keep spamming your CC and it'll keep reapplying. So yeah, of course there's some guards this is better on than others. We'll go over that as well, but it's a really sick passive. Before it stacked, now this passive doesn't stack anymore. I'm really happy that they changed that. But Stone of Binding is this really nice like bridge item that you're gonna see some support build more than others, and that's also because it's very play style specific if you want to build this or not. And yeah, like I guess we're just gonna go straight in and explain when Stone of Binding is good and when it's bad, and not guard specific, but just like specifically an X guard, you know. So Stone of Binding is a really good item if you wanna aggress in the early or the mid game and you wanna kill the enemy support, because what Stone of Binding does is that it removes that extra protection, which makes the other support like pretty goddamn squishy, because supports are squishy early game. You can't really build either physical or magical protection early on, like unless you go Stone of Binding yourself, but it's not really that much protection. You're usually going to see supports go Thieves, or you're going to see supports go Sovereignty or something like that. And one thing you can really abuse is if you see the other support starting to build Thieves, let's say it starts with Glowing Emerald and Guardian's Blessing, you can literally rush Stone of Binding and tell your team, guys, this guy's going to have no defense, I have Stone of Binding, he's gonna have like 15 protections, he's gonna be really squishy, let's just kill him and repeat, and you can just absolutely abuse that. I think one of the best examples we had was in one of our games against SK and SPL. Yamin and I were literally 3v2ing in mid, because I was playing Cerberus, right, he was playing Tough, and they were playing like Athena or something, and Hafter was playing Athena, he went Gauntlet of Thebes first item, and he kept dashing me, and I would ult every time he dashed, and he just got thrown into Yaman, and Yaman and I would just kill him in like one combo. Because with Cerberus 2, Cerberus, one of the guards by the way that Stone of Binding is like insane on, with Cerberus 2 and then his 1 and Yaman just hitting him, he just died, and we turned a 2v3 scenario into a 3v2 or like a 2v2 and kind of got out, get away with it, which is really weird, but that's just how this item works. You can get super punished if you're playing against Stone of Binding and you're scared that you're gonna get killed. You just want to play really far back. Stone of Binding does fall off the later you get into the game. You probably do want to sell this item as well. If you get super far into the game, you can sell it for like a Mantle of Discord, even Void Stone if you want to do that. Pretty much any other item that is like super cost effective. So look at doing that. Yeah. So that was just an example of like when Stone of Binding would be good. Stone of Binding is also going to be good if you are against a team that's looking, or you're looking to fight a lot early game, right? It's a bit faster to buy, like it costs less gold obviously, so you're going to have it online faster than if the enemy support is going to be rushing Sovereignty or Hard Ward. And again, it's just a really nice bridge item. Like it gives you kind of what you want. It doesn't really give health, but what you're really lacking early game is protections anyway, so that doesn't really matter. That's a whole different talk of like the balance between health and prots. But yeah, super sick item if you're just farming with Gep or something, or I don't know who else, which like Fafnir, you're chilling on him, you're just going for late game. Don't buy it. Go Thebes, go Soft, go Hard Ward. If you want to win to go Thebes, I have a video on that as well. But yeah, guard specific, like what guards is this item really good on? So let's just go guards. If this doesn't work now, that's pretty sad. Alright. Archo, Stone of Binding. Oh, come on, man. Getting ads now. You guys are getting Danish ads. I hope you guys enjoy that. Archo, pretty good on Archo. Archo has a lot of ways to proc it. I feel super strong, honestly, when I play Archo support on ranked. With Stone of Binding and like cooldown boots. Big kudos, a big heads up for that. Also, Stone of Binding got an indirect buff when they buffed the power on boots. Because more prots, then even if you have more power, you do less damage. But now you have even more power and you reduce the prots. And yeah, that's kind of how it works. Archo, super good on Archo. I really like it on her. She procs it with her 3, she procs it with her 3. In both stances, she procs it with her 2. So Archo has 3 ways of proccing it. And Archo, it really fits Archo's playstyle, because Archo is this kind of brawler guard. I want to be up in your face. She's this hybrid that can actually 1v1 you if she wants to. And yeah, works really well for her. Morgan support, I'm not a fan of Morgan support. Moving on here. Xing Chang, I definitely think it can work out on Xing. I don't play Xing Chang myself in the support role, but let's say you're playing solo, could even work on someone like Xiong Kui, just get that little extra pen. Although I guess if you're playing Xiong, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't go SPF matches if you really want pen, but yeah, could work. Go on to more traditional support. Skip. Now Geb is actually pretty good at proccing it as well, because he has his knock up, he has the slow knockback on his 1, and he has his ult. However, I would not recommend building it on Geb like very often, unless the enemy team is like super passive team comp, and you just want to punish that. Then don't build it, because Geb is kind of a mid-game, late-game guard where you just want to farm early on, and you're going to set yourself a bit behind in your build, because when you get to around that 4th, 5th item, the Stone of Binding passive doesn't play that big of a role anyway. So yeah. Sobek, I think it's pretty goddamn insane on Sobek as well, right? You have the 1, you have the 2, and then you have the slow on the ult, and those all proc it. I'm pretty sure the ult procs it as well. So if you want to play aggressive, if you want to be so big, pulling, let's say, the gap on the enemy team and just killing him, or like the Capri. Oh, I kind of miss Capri, goddammit. You can do that. I'll say Sobek's like one of them. You can build it, you don't have to. And there's some guys where I just say you definitely should build it. Capri, he's kind of in the same boat as Gap. Like, he has a lot of ways to proc it pretty easily with his 3 and his 1. But again, like, do you really want to be playing super aggressive with Capri early game, where you can just kind of farm and go to late game, and then your 2 is going to be OP and your ult is going to be really strong? I don't know. At least in my opinion, I just think that he's not really one that that benefits that greatly of it, compared to someone like Sobek or Cerberus, which is the next one. Well, we'll just do Cerberus now. Cerberus is absolutely insane, because Cerberus is this support that does a big ton of damage, and when you have Stone of Binding combined with his prot reduction on his 2, that makes this guard super strong. You're pretty much dealing true damage. You can just play around mid for the first 10 minutes, and anyone that walks into you, you can just ult them, throw them back, like I talked about with Half Devil when we kind of abused him. Sorry, Half Devil. It's so strong. Like, just try it in a game, just rush it after the boots. I think Cerberus is pretty much a must on, unless, let's say, you're like super far behind and your team really needs a 70 aura, but Cerberus, build it on him. It's super strong. Ares, I can see it working on Ares. However, Ares really only procs it off the chains. I say if you want to go damage with Ares, you might as well just get the auras right. I'm not sure actually if Stone of Binding counts as an aura, because it's like the passive is not an active aura. It's like you on hit effect aura. That's actually pretty interesting. Should probably test that out. If that applies to his passive. Oh, I can't launch Smite right now because it's patching. That's also why I get time to make these videos. So yeah, Ares, I mean, I can see it, but again, if you want to have damage with Ares, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't just build a Void Stone or stuff and just get power through that way. Or even like Spear Matches or Pyfax or something if you want to go super try hard on it, full damage. Athena, it's actually not that bad on Athena. She has a taunt and she has the slow on her 1. Now, the problem I see with Athena is that she's kind of a very all-in guard in the terms that if you dash in and taunt and they beat, they can just kind of go on you if you have Stone and Binding, because you're not going to be really tanky, because it's only 30 of each prot, and it's not too much, man. So let's say you dash in, you hit the enemy Poseidon with your taunt, but he's gonna beat it, and he's gonna crack in your face, and you're gonna get like molded, and there's gonna be a gap there that's gonna start like doing damage to you as well. You're just kind of gonna die. So I don't think it's too good on Athena, because she's very all in. One can argue that Cerberus is very all in as well, but not in the fact you don't have to jump in with Cerberus and then like you should hold your kit, whereas with Athena most of the time you have to dash in, and once you're dashed in you're kind of committed. And then sure, you can kind of argue back, well, EmilZy, then you're gonna have the passive regardless, but the sad fact is the enemy team is probably gonna kill you before your team can get any kills. So not too big of a fan on Athena. It can work, but yeah. Afro, not really gonna mention Afro. I mean, I guess it could work, but yeah. Ganesh is like one of the bad ones, because you have your free and then you have your ult, and the amount of times you actually hit your free and your ult in a game is just not very strong at all. So wouldn't recommend it. A guard that does benefit really well of this is Kumbhakana, which is 2, right, where he's got like BAM, or his silence and his ult, they all apply it. And what you're really looking for with Stone Bindings is these kind of abilities that are up relatively often, and you're relatively safe while doing it, so you can actually like continuously apply the passive. And Kumba is really, really good at that. So I think it's definitely a really good buy on Kumba. It's not a must, like I think it's a must on Serb, but it's definitely really good. But please remember as well on Cerberus, every goddamn item you build is game situational. If you're against 5 magicals, you probably don't want to rush Stone of Binding, even if you're Cerberus. You probably want to rush a Hard Water Amulet or something like that. Kusenbo, the good old cover. I mean, I can see it, you know. He's just kind of chilling, getting his Stone of Binding, the full damage build going. He has kind of a few ways to proc it. I'm not sure if it procs on the cover, because that's like it's not himself that slows, it's his cover that slows. That's another weird interaction that would be pretty neat to check out. I think it would though. The free procs it as well, and his old procs it of course. So yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty good on Kusenbo. However, you shouldn't build it every game. The Puck, I don't know. Don't play him support, man. Cabrakan, really good on Cabrakan, because Cabrakan literally like pretty much procs it with all 3 of his abilities, right? And his ult shouldn't proc it, but like his 1, 2, and 3 ult procs it. Can definitely build that if you're playing jungle or something. I guess it's a pretty nice bridge item for you as well. So really strong at Cabrakan as well. Just making sure I'm not missing any guards here. Fafnir. Now again, Fafnir for me is kind of in the same boat like Gap or something. Or like Kepri, you can play aggressive if that's what you want to do, and then you can build it. But most of the time with Fafnir, you just kind of want to chill. You want to build up your farm. He's really good at farming. He has a sick late game, but he has a few ways of proccing it, right? He has his hammer, he has his free, and then he has his transformation, of course, where he also has like more abilities to proc it with. So yeah, I mean, can definitely see it work. But in general, like, you also want abilities that are kind of hard to miss, whereas it's not that easy to land a Fafnir hammer compared to like what it is landing a Kumbhakana 2 or like a Cerberus, his like fire, you know, his 2. So I don't know, it's alright. You can build it if you want to aggress, but I mean, I don't really build it in Faf. You can also like, it's not bad as like a 3rd or 4th item, but I definitely wouldn't recommend building it after that, because you want to sell it late game regardless, in my opinion. Emir does really well. Again, Emir is this kind of up in your face early game kind of guard, and his 2 procs it right, his 3 procs it, and does his old might proc it as well now with the recent changes to it. I'm not sure, that's another like trial and error case, I guess. I'm not the biggest Emir player myself, so I wouldn't know, but definitely works on his 3 and his 2. It's really gonna amplify and amp up your damage, so build it on Emir. Seems really strong on Emir. You kind of want Stone of Binding's purpose, right, is to punish the enemy team early mid game, really get those kills that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't have that extra pen. And guards like Emir, Serb, Archer, those kind of all-in early game guards do really well with it. Not saying that those 3 guards don't have a good late game, because they do, but they just have a pretty strong early game compared to more traditional supports. Bacchus, it's really strong on Bacchus as well, right? Because he's this kind of, I'm going to do a lot of damage, I'm up in your face kind of guard, and therefore he's also going to benefit really well from pen in general, right? So I can see that. Definitely works on Bacchus. He has 3 ways of proccing it, the 2, 3, and the 4. Sylvanas is one of like my favorites to go it on, because he's so much early pressure, and if you get an early blink and you ult, and then you're maxing your one as well, and you have Stone of Binding, and you should one of them, they pretty much have no protections whatsoever. You should max your one Sylvanas, by the way. Please do that. If you're not doing that, that's kind of bad. Moving on, Terra. I mean, I can see Stone of Binding working on Terra. I'm not the biggest fan myself. Like, you do a lot of damage on Terra, but I feel like you like kind of want the auras more. It definitely procs, like, it works well with a passive, it works well with a 3 and a 2, so can definitely work, right? But I mean, it's alright. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Can definitely see an argument being made that, oh, EmilZy, this is sick on Terra because you're really up in your face early game, and yeah, sure, you can say you kind of do that as well, right? So, Nox. We're gonna include Nox as well because I guess, well, hell, don't build on hell, please. Nox. I mean, I can see it working on Nox, right? Because you're just doing combos all the time. You have like easy ways of proccing it. So yeah, sure. If you want to build it on Nox, I can see why you want to build it, because like the whole point of Nox support is just to kill someone in combos, and that extra threat that Stone of Binding is gonna bring is gonna be really strong. But that's kind of my thoughts on Stone of Binding, right? It's super like game specific, and like you have to think every time, what's my purpose in this game, and what am I gonna do like with the Stone of Binding? What is my plan, you know? So there's so many ads, man. These guys must be making bank. It's a really good item, don't get me wrong. I would recommend selling it late game. I will also only recommend building it if you're looking to be aggressive in the early and the mid game, and also only building it on like a few guards, or well, a lot of guards definitely benefit from it in the Guardian role. So that's my Stone of Binding video. I hope you guys did enjoy this. What item or something do you want me to make a video on next? If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, press the bell, and until next time everyone, peace out.